Hi, welcome back. And as promised, I wanted to bring all the best guests in skincare for APS Skin and really delve into why I went down this journey and wanted to deliver APS Skin to my patients. So I'm very lucky to be joined by one of my patients and friend, Kat, who is obviously a skincare researcher. She's a doctor, and I'm going to let you tell her a little bit about. So welcome, Kat.
Oh, hi, Claire. Such a pleasure you invited me, honestly. Such an honor, pleasure.
No,
hi,
thank
friend.
you.
So, I'm a doctor specializing in muscular biology, longevity, and various approaches to target aging. So at the moment, I'm doing a bit of consulting, but simultaneously, we're working on peptides, and we're about to deliver something really amazing. Maybe next time we can talk about that.
Absolutely.
But peptides?
The thing is, though, I think whenever you're seeing anything in 2026 starting to really trend, I think peptides is something that we're really seeing at the moment. You know, it's everywhere right now. I started to research them last year, and I'm actually taking peptides for longevity. And I think we're the era of the biohackers, definitely, aren't we? We're seeing it getting younger and younger. People are really looking into what they can do to stop aging, things that are out there that are available to them. And obviously from a researcher's point of view that you're in with the peptides, tell us more. Why are they working so well, and why are we going to see them trending?
It's really interesting because we look at peptides as something, as an innovation.
Yeah.
However, it is historically, it's one of the oldest building blocks of biology.
Wow.
We were just not so aware of how powerful they can be in order to modulate signaling. So we were so focused on creating different treatments and drugs that are going to just probably cancel something, block, inhibit.
Yeah.
Whereas peptides are more modulators. They're more messengers to our already pre-existing biology, which has been redefined, polished by evolution over millennia.
Wow.
So, you know, some of the oldest drugs, or like the drugs that are very known to us, are peptides, such as insulin, glutathione. It's all a peptide. And now, funnily enough, we get peptides in our skincare everywhere.
Well, GHKU is a huge one we're seeing everywhere at the moment, aren't we?
It's
literally...
It's honestly so powerful. And like, how do we only know about it now? Because it's just... So basically what peptides are is like, I like to refer to them as they're building blocks of amino acids.
Yeah.
So imagine if amino acids were letters, peptides are words, and proteins are sentences.
Yeah.
So in order to deliver some sort of command or action, you sometimes don't need a full sentence. You can do it with a word. And that's what peptides do. It's quick, it's efficient, it's understandable. So they send a message instead of giving a full sentence by one word. And that message sort of is quicker delivered, gets to the cell, and because of their structure, they can actually attach themselves to the cell membrane or even penetrate through it because of the small size of what peptides are. So essentially, like, looking at it now, we're only aware and we're allowed to use about hundreds of peptides, whereas human biology has about thousands of them. And then just generally in the world, from plants, from marine, from animals, you get millions of peptides.
Yeah,
We're just scratching the surface. And that's why 2026 is going to be amazing for that, because there is so much clinical research done into it.
And I think that's it, isn't it? I think because it's being researched even more now, people are being educated and want to know about it. Whereas you were probably researching these years ago and seeing the power of them. Now people are like, okay, I need to get more, but they don't quite understand what they are.
Yeah.
So in layman's terms, a lot of these peptides we have in our body already. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sequence, and it's a sequence that we use to create some sort of signaling. With age, the signaling can get dampened.
Yeah.
So we introduce the similar sequence to reintroduce the signaling, to send that message, don't dampen it, keep going, keep going, keep going. Instead of block something, instead of inhibit some sort of pathway, we just modulate the pathway that already has been created by evolution and biology. So that's why it's so important. But if you look at aging, what aging essentially is, it's not just one mechanism fit for all. Aging is decline of mitochondrial function. So it's mitochondrial health, metabolic health, inflammatory state, hormonal state, and they all sort of interlink within each other.
Yeah.
And that's where peptides come in. So when all of this happen interlinked simultaneously, not simultaneously, but one is dependent on each other, peptide comes in, it's very specific. It targets one function. It creates sort of like, it gets you out of this negative loop.
Yeah. It's funny because I work in the clinic, I'm a nurse, and I'm seeing people just doing the GLPs continuously. Obviously, GLPs are a peptide, but some of them are really taking their age in a way. They're getting like kind of Mounjaro face, shall we say. Whereas I kind of went across to a peptide that worked on inflammation, and I lost so much water weight and inflammation. I looked like I'd been on Mounjaro for probably a month.
Yeah.
And it was just because how much my own body was holding inflammation and retaining.
Yeah.
So I went across to a peptide, and wow, the difference, my cheekbones are back. And I was like, sometimes I think a lot of people are taking the GLPs, and look, there's a great success rate for people who need them. However, I feel like there's that miseducation that sometimes it's not the GLP that you need, it's just a peptide and that inflammation and where you think it's weight gain.
Absolutely. Well, I think personally, there is lots of good stuff out there. A lot of them are approved, a lot of them research experimental. However, whatever you want to take, you should always take it under the guidance of medical professional.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't just decide for yourself, oh, I'm going to take a GLP, I'm going to do this. You should go do some testing, see where your immunological profile is, where your mitochondrial profiling is, where your hormones are at, and then under certain guidance, you can get a right dose of the right substance that should be administered to you, rather than it's not always fit for all. It's more personalized, and that's why it's amazing. That's why peptides work, because everyone's got a personalized approach to what the improvement on their aging is, rather than like we all are the same.
It's true, and I think that's it. That's where the miscommunication comes from. Instagram, they see everyone now taking peptides, supplying peptides, and it's like, half these haven't got the education on it to be doing it. Then you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you see something on TikTok, you see it works, you see a beautiful girl, a beautiful guy, and you just kind of walk with it. Like, I don't know, like I've been there myself, and like I almost got hooked on it, and then I was just like, well, let me research that. Actually, let me research that. And then I think peptides, like what happens is that the various actions of peptides is, again, you get signaling peptides, you get carrier peptides, you get neuromodulators, and you get enzyme inhibitors, and then you get these 4 different functional groups of peptides, and the best, like they work at their best when they're mixed together, rather than just one by one by one. So in combination, they create this powerful synergy, and I think that's what you kind of done when I was looking at your amazing masks.
That's it.
There's not just one peptide and that's it. You've got powerhouses there. APS is a powerhouse of ceramides, peptides, antioxidants. I was like, whoa.
What's she doing?
She's done it. It's magic.
Do you know, it's funny because obviously we've come across to APS now, and that was one of my main ethos. All the ingredients that I use, the peptides, the ceramides, they were all synergistically working alongside each other. And everyone said, why did you not do a collection like wash or a toner? And I was like, because I wanted actives that I knew that was going to work. So I kind of, let's explain to the audience the difference between a peptide and a ceramide, because obviously a lot kind of that gets a little bit mixed up. Are they the same? Obviously they don't realise that they work in conjunction with each other.
Well, first of all, peptides is amino acids, ceramides are lipids. So that's the structural difference. Peptides are there to rejuvenate and heal, and protect. Ceramides are there to protect the barrier. So on their own, they're very powerful ingredients. Together, they create this powerhouse. It's sort of like, the best duo you can do together. Because in the end of the day, you can treat your skin and rejuvenate it as much as you want, but if there is no barrier to protect it, your water will just evaporate. Your wrinkles will just, your skin will just get thinner. You'll get more dehydrated, even though the collagen, sort of synthesis will be happening, but there will be no barrier to protect it from pollutants, from UV. So you need the ceramides in order to, first of all, to lock in the moisture, to keep your skin proliferating, differentiating, to keep that barrier thick and clear. So I don't know, you can't just choose one or another. It's like it's like someone telling you to choose between, I don't know, a coffee and a green tea. I don't know, maybe something. I can't choose. Can you?
But jump on the match. You're trying not to.
It was random.
So let's go through the the difference. So our best seller is hyaluronic acid. And what we found since we've been selling it, so obviously this journey I've been doing for about 4 years, and I was finding my feet, and, you know, it's all to do with patients and consumer feedback of what they were finding, what was going to be my best seller, what products I was going to keep on the line. And our best seller from day one was our hyaluronic acids, our Hydra Booster. And we found what was happening is anyone with eczema, psoriasis, or a skin breakout, they were going to the doctors, and there's a lot of great medication, you know, that does work, but the steroids wasn't working. It was aggravating it even more. So they were buying the HA from ourselves, and they were like, it's literally calmed my skin within a few days. Within like weeks, there was people with psoriasis all over the hands, cleared up. And I just wanted, like, obviously, I knew the power of it, but obviously from a professional and a researcher, you know, a scientist and doctor who really think is, I'd love to kind of debunk why that is happening. It's so good on breakout.
So first of all, let me clarify. Are we talking about the capsules?
We're talking about
we
the
are talking about the capsules.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they are so good. So first of all, when firstly I looked at them, they're 20%
Correct.
hydrolyzed hyaluronic acid. That is the most powerful percentage you can find.
Yeah.
Just generally. Hydrolyzed means the molecular formula is less off, so it penetrates the skin better. It like locks itself in. And then if I'm not mistaken, it goes along with ceramides as well.
Yeah.
So besides of locking the moisture, it prevents the moisture from evaporating. So if you don't mind,
yeah, I love that she's got all a
list of ingredients here. Like, I always like my homework. I've done my homework.
Yeah, and I love you've took that time.
No,
Thank
it
you.
is really exciting because when I looked at your capsules, it's just something people don't talk enough about.
Yeah.
First of all, by locking in your ingredients into a capsule, biodegradable capsule form, is magic of its own in terms of delivery because it's sufficient, it's predictable because you always get the same dose. The capsule, the way it's constructed doesn't let your ingredients to, you know, get oxidized, to degrade. And that's what we don't talk enough. Like we buy those expensive serums in those fancy little nice glass bottles and they just sit there, you know, on our windowsill. But they constantly get exposed to UV light.
Yeah.
They constantly get exposed to oxygen. When it's open, it's open. So what part of that substance becomes efficient by the end of month 1, 2, 3. Whereas with capsules, it's one dose at a time. So it's always there because it's sealed in a vacuum. And it's sealed in this like sort of like lipid membrane of a capsule that helps the ingredients to stay alive, to stay potent, to stay at their best. And especially when you mix stuff like ceramides. And if I'm not mistaken, you had some peptides there too. You had palmitoyl hexapeptide 12, if I'm not mistaken. So amazing for collagen and ECM remodeling. So you've got the peptides that remodel your collagen, you've got ceramides that protect you, and you've got hyaluronic acid that to lock in that moisture. So it becomes this powerhouse that works in synergy all together. So while you know you get psoriasis, eczema, you get that dry skin, you need to lock in the moisture in the first place. You need to moisturize. But what happens as well, you need to reduce the evaporation of water from the skin itself. But the conditions are driven by inflammation. So you need to reduce the inflammatory markers of the condition. And that's what this peptide does. Essentially, you've got antioxidants there. You've got, if I'm not mistaken, was it tocopherol? So you've got amazing antioxidants that fight reactive oxygen species. But what happens there, a lot of people in their formulations, they put those antioxidants and they don't account that those antioxidants are not water soluble. They are, you know, so you made sure they are oil.
That's it.
And, you know, they penetrate, they actually work. They don't just sit there on a layer.
Yeah.
They actually are working. They're getting into your skin. They're fighting ROS along with ceramides. So interestingly, from the formula that I was looking at, your ceramides are the closest to the skin existing ceramides.
Yeah.
So they're not just, you know, generics. So they actually penetrate the skin. They mimic the original skin responses. The skin, like, it accepts them as its natural habitat, and therefore that's why it's so easy. Like our skin is not just one layer. You've got water, like water soluble layer. You've got lipid layer. You get water again. So your goal is essentially to get as deep as you want,
Absolutely.
and as you can, not just to sit on the surface. Otherwise, it would just be surface based, and that's why those capsules are really amazing.
And it's funny because when I brought them to market, everyone was like, oh, a capsule, why have you done them in a capsule? And I was like, 1 for the hygiene, 2 for the penetration, and 3 for the potency that everything's going to keep there.
Yeah.
And I think no one really understood why I did it like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted to really get it out there and be like, no, I wanted to ensure what I was delivering, the ingredients was so top of the range that I wanted to get the full potency of them. And that was my aim. And that's what I'm seeing coming back now. People who are trying them, they're just like, oh my God, like the difference in my skin, the difference in the inflammation, any like kind of really dryness is really, really helping.
Yeah.
So it's, no wonder it's our hero product.
It is a hero. It truly is. Like, I believe in it because, like, I don't think we speak enough about the importance of delivery. We speak enough about formulations and these magic formulations that no one really know how they work and, like, are they actually working, because there's not enough clinical data there. But we don't talk about how important the delivery of the substance is and the preservation of it between that timing when you buy a product and then use it. So you can buy a very expensive serum, but if you want it to last, you want it to last 3-4 months, is it actually going to last? What is the expiry between opening of a box to the,
And that's what I loved about it. That's when I was obviously formulating the HA, I wanted something that was going to feel medical, but could be sold retail. And it wasn't it they needed. Because I do feel for myself, when I was being tested, they were saying, we believe these should be pharmaceutical level. And I was like, it's going to cut me off from such a high
But it's the closest you can get to a pharmaceutical delivery. It really is amazing because it's cosmetic. But the delivery of it and the formulations is the closest to the pharmaceutical, and that's why it's helping.
And I pushed and they were like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I was like, please don't make me go pharmaceutical.
I think I remember that. I've seen you, what was it, like a year and a half ago or 2 years, and you were talking about the clinical trials, and I was like, girl, you can do it.
It took years.
Because the formulation is so strong, the delivery is added, and they just don't want such a strong competitors to come into the market because you're going to beat them all. And that's why, like, well, there is a regulation. You're like, no, actually, I'm not doing this. Yeah, I'm gonna push this a bit further. We'll see, and that's why they're helping. Because from what I've gathered, you've got such a strong lipid soluble system going on there, and that's what you actually want for your components to get delivered into that layer, for them to work. It's not water based; it's lipid solubility based, because that is the layer we're targeting. That is the layer beneath the water layer. There is the dermis, and then it just really gets in there. And because they in such a perfect combination. They don't counteract each other. They work together in synergy. It's a true powerhouse. I'd even go as far as like maybe call it a Wolverine stack.
Oh, I love this. We're stacking ceramides and peptides topically. And it's true. So our next product, which we absolutely love as well, is obviously we have our biocellulose masks and eye masks. And when I was formulating them, I was actually doing a nursing program at the time, and I was working a lot in a burns unit, and I was seeing what biocellulose was doing to heal the skin and penetrating all, like, obviously the medication, the creams and serums, and I was like, oh my God, I want a mask that's going to do this, because I knew when I was putting all the ingredients in, like Centella acetica, one of the main ones, I was like, if I'm going to do this with the face masks, I'm going to put it on a biocellulose, because I want it to really, really be a luxury face mask that you can sit and think, I've just had a really nice pamper. Yeah. And some of the ingredients in there are absolutely beautiful, and you just stay super hydrated with this mask.
Well, first of all, they both are biocellulose. Yeah. And I think it's amazing what you've done there, because it is, I'm not going to go as far as calling it artificial skin, but come on, it is close, because it's not, you're just putting a bit of plastic on yourself or like a bit of paper. You're actually putting something so organic that blends in, the angles there. It just the adhesion of it is perfect. Yeah. Because it's biocellulose, it becomes 10 times more permeable to the cell membrane. It sticks so well that it takes time for all the ingredients sort of like get into your skin, and it doesn't dry out. It doesn't, there is no evaporation of all the ingredients that you kind of want to get in there. So it takes time, and with time it gets in. Whereas a lot of masks there on the market, they claim they have all those powerful like ingredient formulations, but because they either dry out or diffuse or evaporate, half of them are not getting delivered into the skin.
Well, that's what was happening, because I really tested some of like the leading ones on the market. And I mean, these sell by the minute. And I pay an extortionate amount when I was testing them. And I was like, this has been on my skin for a couple of seconds and it's dry. There's nothing penetrating my skin. And that's why I really did it with the eye masks, because I was like, I was getting these gel eye masks. I was paying a fortune again. And I was thinking, 2 seconds in, where's all that?
I'm not sure what I think about the gel eye masks, if I'm being honest.
It.
I think it's a bit of a hype. I don't want to slander, but like I do think generally, if you had to choose between biocellulose and gel, you always go biocellulose. What is a gel eye mask?
That's it. How's that even gonna exactly? And that's what I found when I did the eye mask. I was like, if I'm going to put these level of ingredients in, because obviously I put Sinac in there, I mixed it with a bit of Centella. And I was thinking, no, I want these to penetrate in. And what's lovely about them eye masks, you put them on an hour later, you're still feeling the absorption coming. Yeah. And it's the same with the face masks. It's on for an hour. And when you're peeling it off, you can feel all that kind of Centella acetica still going through the skin.
So you've got two, right? One of them is a very powerful, I think, antioxidant house, which is what you're talking about, Centella acetica.
Centella acetica.
Yeah, with a Cinac and a bit of an is it Cinac and Centella both together?
That's the eye mask.
Yes, the eye mask, And I think it's so powerful because you've got this Centella acetica, which we call, I think you've got a really cute nickname, it's Sika or something like that. So it's essentially historically in folklore, I don't know if you knew that, it's called tiger grass. So why is it called tiger grass? It's because tigers, after battle, they seeked for that herb to heal their wounds and scars. So they seeked for it, they ripped it, and they kind of like either ate lots of it or tried to put it on their wound of each other, like after the battle.
Wow.
And it healed the scars. So essentially it is a bodyguard. It's a botanical bodyguard. It is magical because it's got so many different types of properties. It's not just one functionality of it. So it soothes and calms. It is anti-inflammatory, and it also protects. It's a very powerful antioxidant. So it's essentially a Beyonce of herbs. It can do it all.
Well, that's what I wanted for the eye mask, because I thought that the actual face mask is. It's full of Centella acetica, because I just thought when you're having that pamper, it's beautiful just to have that healing and regenerative. But when I was doing the eye mask, I was always focused on, women. Some women don't want tox. Yeah. So literally, I was thinking I needed tightening.
And that's why you've got Cinac. And then what is Cinac? Isn't it like a venom mimicking?
Mimics snake venom peptide. It's synergetic.
I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Vagricin 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a peptide coming from the snake venom. Yes, and they used to use that venom
to tighten.
To essentially on their victim or their prey to reduce the contraction so it stops the movement. So let's call wrinkles our prey.
That's
and we'll just target it and they're gone. So I think it's really powerful you've done there, because what I've mentioned about types of peptides and their functionality, you've got that peptide that reduces the contraction, and on the other side you've got this Beyonce of herbs, Centella acetica, that just like does it all, and then it hydrates, does the anti-inflammatory function, soothes as well. So while that's happening and you've got this healing effect, you also have got a neuromodulatory effect inhibiting the contraction of the muscle itself. And if you use it, like, I'm not saying like daily, but daily would be amazing.
To be fair, we did trials on it and only around the ingredient of Cinac. And what it was saying is we did the trial around an age 45 lady who's never had tox, and it went lower. Yeah. But if she was wearing it three to five times a week, the wrinkle nearly was like kind of diminished
almost
by up to like 50%.
Yeah, that's what I would expect looking at the formulation, because the formulation is rather strong. And you also got, I'm not not sure. Do you have a green leaf as well there?
We do.
So you do have the green leaf to fight the ROS,
Yeah.
you know, and it's green leaf is a very powerful polyphenol. But what happens is polyphenol is extremely volatile, and they don't stay, you know, thickened enough in water. And what you've done there, I've seen, you made it lipid soluble. So you attached the lipid group to it. So it becomes that polyphenol that actually works. It doesn't degrade.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people don't they buy those green tea extracts in skincare, but they don't really know whether it's actually working, because it can be, you can say it's a green tea extract, but by the time you buy it, it might be already degraded because it's not stable in water. Whereas you make sure it's alive. Yeah.
And when I was formulating, it wasn't like I just went to the lab and went, just do this, and I'll put my name to it.
You've done your homework.
I was doing my homework. I was like, all this years, because like I started in skin from 18, and you know, it's literally, I was working with some of the biggest brands out there, and what I didn't like was I was forced to sell, and I was like, but that doesn't work for everyone. So I wanted a range that was, you can go and put this in your makeup bag and literally you can use it with another moisturiser and it's absolutely fine, because the actors have got in there. They're literally solving problematic skin conditions or skin concerns from an aesthetic point of view. And that's what I wanted, products that were so strong that you'd go, okay, I can feel a difference off these.
And it's a multifunctional cocktail of them. So it's not just you just use one and target one condition. You make sure that, and you look at it from a health perspective as well. So like when we are trying to treat anything, whether it's a headache, whether it's a muscle, you know, tension or something, you just don't target one. You try and target it all. You know, and that's what you're doing with skin aging there. You don't just target collagen. You target collagen, but you also what causes collagen degradation. It's inflammation, reactive oxygen species. What causes that? You know, you try to scavenge some ROS, and you know, along with inducing collagen remodeling, along with soothing and locking in the hydration, so the water doesn't evaporate, because we all need water for anything to function. So it's really amazing what you've done there, because you looked at that perspective from all the angles, and that is what's important. But besides that, you also ensure that the delivery is there, because you can have all the right formulations, but if it doesn't get into your cells, it's pointless. It's just a fancy name. It's just a fancy name in a fancy box.
Absolutely.
You know, and we've all been there. And what I like the most is as well, they're all non-comedogenic. Yeah. So, you know, because I've got issues as well. Sometimes I've got a bit of an acne and irritation and stuff. And you make sure that all your ingredients and your formulations are non-comedogenic, so there is nothing to fear.
That's it, and you're fine to use them all. Another one that we put in as well was Lift and Illuminate, which is good. So that's full of diamond powder.
Oh, tell me about it.
So diamond powder is good. It's an ingredient that's really reflective on the skin. So if you've got like kind of a red carpet you go into,
in an event, every day.
You want this, you want that reflectiveness.
I want it every day.
So that's more, you're like, I just need a quick cream.
Life is a red carpet.
Let's talk about, because I feel like this is going to be another trending ingredient this year, and you've done a lot of research on this one. We're just formulating at the moment another product with it, with TX and PDRN.
Oh my God. So I really like PDRN, especially in combination with peptides. So PDRN is a polynucleotide. So essentially, it's a nucleotide DNA fragment that gets into your skin, and it attaches itself to A2A receptors that stimulate the synthesis of collagen and through reducing the inflammation and so on and so forth. So when you look at PDRN, it's sort of like it's a support of terrain. So our skin is a terrain. And it supports all the functions of it. When you look at that polynucleotides, it's a specific support within the terrain of specific processes. So if you use them both together, it becomes this powerful, you know, house of youth. Whether it's with TXA, I think isn't it to equal out the tone and pigmentation. So that's very powerful on the other side of the story, because you want it to be one equal glow.
So what I wanted, exactly that. I wanted it to basically deliver glass skin, help with pigmentation, but not on the level, because some ladies, I use a lot of tretinoin in clinic, and some ladies like, I cannot go through that drying phase. It's too much for me.
It's the barrier. You don't want to kill it. And we've been talking about, no matter like how powerful your ceramides are, like you want to protect the barrier, you need to be gentle. You need to be gentle with your washes, with your toners. And I think that's why you have the range of what you have, because you don't want to be advocating for something and at the same time releasing the wash that's going to kill your barrier. So you like...
When I'm working
when you're
well
so hard to
keep
preserve it. Yes.
So what I ended up doing, I was like, okay, when I was working with the lab again on this formulation, I was like, I need something that is going to be as powerful as tretinoin. It's going to help with pigmentation, but if it's not as quick but a slower process, it's going to help. And then I want PDRN to really like focus that regenerative while kind of taking away. And they're like, okay, no one's done this, but let's have a little look for you. And so I started using it myself. Within about 2 weeks, every single day I was waking up with this insane glow.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay,
don't we all need it? Yeah, how good were your days? You know, when you wake up with that glow, you set the day differently. You know, when you wake up and you just know, I can do things, I can conquer this world.
Because I always get a lot of inflammation around the
you got a bit of red cheek. That's
it.
Same.
It's that type of skin tone I have. Caucasian, a little bit of red here, a little bit of pigmentation.
It's not equal. It just goes like, it's like, I'm just so jealous of the girls who can just wake up like this. And no, it's not like that. Yeah, I need.
Whereas I need
help.
Especially when you're 40, you need as much help as you can. So I was using tretinoin, and I was just like, great for my skin. But what I was my barrier was going. I was getting where I thought it was a wrinkle, it wasn't. It was dehydration.
Yeah, but it can turn into a wrinkle if you use it too much, because it's good that you kind of spotted it in the early days, but like if you keep using it, and even if you use SPF, if it's so dry, it's irritated, so the UV light will penetrate through it and it will turn it into a wrinkle, because the barrier is not there, because you disturbed it. So
whereas 2 weeks of using this new formulation that I'm bringing out, my skin is so hydrated, it's glowy. I feel like I don't need to use as much makeup. I'm looking in the mirror thinking, okay,
it's the best feeling you can give yourself, isn't it? Yeah.
And I feel like no one's come out and been like, okay, we need something like tretinoin, and it's going to give the same effects.
I feel like you just created it for yourself, and now you're like, it's too good to hold back. I need to share this.
But I think that's what it is. Everything that I do with the products,
it's
I
what
test
you would like to use.
And I'm like, APS is just a journey and a kind of like an extension of what I use in my makeup bag. And I just think, there's a lot of toxins out there. I still do toxins myself, but I always say, if you're looking after your skin at home, my job's not as hard. I don't need to use as much stuff because it's already preserved there. Yeah. So this new formulation, I'm really excited, because the people who don't really want as much hydration as the HA, this is a good one to put in your bag, because it should literally...
Do you have any sort of like peptides that counteract muscle movements in there, whether it's a Cinake or argaroline?
No, I've not put it in this one, but I'm still in formulation, so
that's exciting.
Maybe we'll talk about this afterwards.
You can consider that, because like if it does penetrate the skin, which Cinake and argaroline do,
okay,
that could actually work. Or maybe something like GHK.
Yeah, we could put that in.
That's amazing. But let's talk about it later.
We might be going back to formulations. It was still a formulation stage, so it's great.
You can always have different prototypes, and I'm sure like if it's working, because like you don't want to put too much stuff, they're going to counteract each other. Like obviously, I don't think I've looked into the formulation, and that's why I'm only asking.
Yeah, I might send it you first before actually giving it the go ahead.
We can just see. I'll send you some prototypes too.
Let's talk about, because I think this is where a lot of people don't realise, when you're buying your creams from retail, the ingredients list on the back. So if your Cinake is the last one, there's a very small percentage of it in there. And a lot of people don't realise this.
Yeah, it's hard to navigate yourself, I think, through the ingredient space. But then no one like really teaches us. It's even looking at the label of your food label. No one really teaches us what stabilizers are, preservatives. And then no one really teaches us about the same stabilizers and preservatives in skincare either. And I think that's why your capsules, again, going back to your capsules, are superior, because they're in the capsules, you don't need as much preservatives for them to stay non-degradable. And that, because you don't want to put preservatives inside yourself on like any internal, external level either. So I think that is what we're not learning enough. Yeah. And yes, you're right. If it's right at the bottom, it's probably the tiniest percentage. It's probably the tiny, and then also the extract matters. So sometimes they can say, oh, we've got Sika, but then is it that, what kind of extract of Sika, what percentage of it? They don't tell us that.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to be very careful. And if sometimes you see the more is not always the better. So you see those huge lists of the ingredients, and then you're like, like taking up the whole side of the bottle. Yeah, and then you're like, they just confuse you.
You're like, no, we need to go to 50 mil instead of 30
So
mil.
essentially what you want to see is what stuff in like at the top of it, because that's the biggest percentage. And also you search for things in the middle and what is actually, are they formulated into? Is it lipid soluble? Is it water soluble? Are those substances actually going to get into my skin? But I think it's rather hard. Like we all becoming sort of like healthcare and skincare enthusiasts, but we still like a long way to go from understanding what actually the formula. Yeah, what's happening.
Let's talk as well, because something like APS to put on a kiddie's skin, it's a no-go. They're too actives, but obviously our kiddies are into all the skincare. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
However,
TikTok,
it's something
you can't
we're not going to stop it. And
but you can just create something a bit safer for them.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I've got a friend who's really created a good skincare brand for kiddies at the moment. And do you know what? I think it was what was needed, because kiddies was going out there and buying everything that us as adults were putting on our skin. And let's face it, it
destroys their barrier.
Absolutely.
It destroys their barrier. But essentially what I would think it would be the best, and it's just off the cliff, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It would be good SPF for the daytime, because like the kids spend a long days outside, they have all that time on their hands. Then good ceramides that protect the barrier again from, and good antimicrobial action of like along with them. They don't need a lot of peptides. They don't need a lot of harsher ingredients. I'm not saying peptides are harsh, but stuff like vitamin C, even like they can get them there, but as long as they have ceramides and nice hydration lock-in substances along with SPF for the daytime, and something like peptide based, but like not like arginine, but something that just supports the structure rather than remodels it, supports the anti-inflammatory state along with ceramides. Again, ceramides.
Yeah,
we need them everywhere since we're kids, because if we're like, when we're kids, our barrier gets disturbed. We touch our face all the time. We scratch it. We get we touch something on the table, and then it just all gets in there. We need strong barrier.
Well, I think people don't realise. So obviously I go to a lot of conferences with my job, and I have, I'm fortunate to sit around some amazing, talented people. And one of the doctors, surgeons, shall we say, works a lot in obviously skin cancer, and she was saying we're one of the worst countries and the highest for skin cancer.
Really?
And it's because we're not educated enough on SPF. On a cloudy day, we should be lathering our kids still in SPF.
I know. And then no one tells us that.
Yeah.
I have read somewhere that even when you're at home, you should put SPF
Absolutely
on.
now, because of everything, like your tellies, your laptops.
All the blue lights, as well as your windows. You've got a window open, you've got a shutter open as well. It all gets in. And I'm not saying you should slather yourself in SPF, but just a little bit for your face.
Yeah.
When you go outside, whether it's winter or summer, SPF 50, at least SPF 30 for the winter, at least for the kids, essentially, because they're always outside. They're more outside than we are.
That's it,
and no one tells us that, because we always believe. I have so many friends who, like, in the summer they'll put SPF on their face. In the winter they wouldn't even think about it. And then, however, like, there is so much hype and myths, and everything should be debunked, because this TikTok culture advocates for non-SPF. Oh, SPF causes cancer. SPF is bad. I don't know if you've seen all that. It's like anti-vaxxers, anti-SPFers. It's like, oh gosh, like. It's just hard, because if you don't know, you try just to navigate yourself through that space, and then there is so many like health influencers that advocate for non-SPF.
Yeah.
And then
I seen something, and it was a lady, and she was saying, you should be in the sun. I've not aged because I go in the sun. Okay, a little bit of vitamin D is great, but still protect yourself. But our kiddies watching that, and people who aren't quite educated on their skin will think, I want to stop wearing SPF. I don't need to.
Well, I think, I can't remember what the app was called. So I had it on my phone, and it's actually an app that gives you a percentage of UV lights during the day. So like I think it's a scale somewhere from 1 to 5 or 1 to 4. So you can see, like, once it goes past like 2.5, you should definitely put like a good amount of SPF. Yeah. When it's between like 1 to 2, like you can reduce the percentage of SPF, or like you can get away with like half an hour, like in the sun, which is usually the sunrise. And yes, it's good for you. Like, you should spend some time like with clear skin, because as you said, it is vitamin D. But when it's mid-afternoon, when it's 2 a.m., when it's summer. Like, come on.
We need to,
You don't need that.
Let's talk about, because I know you work on muscular as well, and I love, and let's talk about emotional aging.
Oh my God.
So the fascia, for instance, we're storing, there's a lot of people highly stressed, emotional trauma, and obviously the locking and not moving the fascia and unlocking this fascia there where we're storing this emotion, which leads to aging.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't aware of this. So let's talk about the fascia. And
that is really interesting, because along with emotional aging, like I
Yeah.
believe there is like 4 pillars that you can't get away without. So it would be stuff like exercise, diet, sleep.
my favorite.
And wellness. And that's where emotional aging comes into wellness. Wellness. We need to be less stressed. And I know it's hard because the world is spinning at the speed of light right now. There's so many things happening and you feel like you're always behind. Something is going on, something like there is more work to do, there is more money to make. I don't know. Like it's just much harder. There is more messages to reply. People ask more of you. So where do you find the time to feel better?
Exactly.
So you end up creating this loop of like stress, and any emotional stress can result in physiological stress, because our emotions, our brain is connected to, how our body works, and it's also our gut. So it's all interconnected, because our gut, our brain, our blood, they all work in this synergy, and that's where the fascia comes in. So
I'm obsessed with the fascia. I just love watching all the videos, and I'm just like, and you know what? It's funny because I was always on autopilot, non-stop going. So I started doing yoga this year, moving it all around, like really kind of getting into my fascia, ball rolling on my fascia and stuff like that on the bottom of my foot. And I really put it down to prioritizing movement, sleep, obviously my peptides, my skincare, and honestly, I feel better now at 40 than half of my 30s.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've removed everything, put boundaries in place, and I can feel that that's slowing down. I'm
and
seeing it in my skin.
And you've got your mask. That's it. No, I know what you mean, because I had a few times in my life when I felt so burned out, and I felt like I'm just on this autopilot, and I just keep going and going and I can't stop. But keep going doesn't always mean working at your optimal, because you keep going doesn't mean that you're doing your best. You try to, but what does it mean? When you know what your best is, when you're relaxed, when you're well, you can do the same task in an hour that potentially would have taken you 3 hours back in the day.
So let's talk about GHKU, because it's one of the major rising kind of words, shall we say, around kind of skincare and just the benefits. So I've been taking GHKU, and the difference in my hair, my skin.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Obviously, I even noticed that I'm getting I'm 40 now, so my knees were starting to crinkle.
And your elbows, everything. Yeah, I know, because it's such a powerful component. So first of all, GHKQ is a copper tripeptide 1 and is a carrier peptide. So lots of peptides, they are not able to penetrate through the membrane of the cell. Most of the proteins are not able to do that either, because membrane of the cell it's a very unique structure that does not allow any foreign intruders. I don't want to say it's a foreign intruder, but it's something out that you induce into yourself, and it doesn't like to get things into. But GHKQ is actually small enough, and it creates this permeability, it gets into the cell, and it carries the copper peptide. Sorry, copper ion.
Yep.
So copper is essential for collagen synthesis. Without copper, there is no collagen synthesis. And, with age, our copper depletes, and we need that copper, for the reactions to happen. And its peptide is so powerful, they can do that. And therefore, by bringing in the copper, your collagen synthesis just go up. And then, inflammation goes down.
That's what I've noticed the most. Literally, the inflammation and literally the
oxidative
tightening.
stress, everything. It affects everything. It goes so beyond the skin. It affects your mental health. It affects your gut barrier. You get your food and all the good stuff absorbed better within your gut lining. Everything. It just helps everything, because it just rebuilds everything.
Because that's what people don't realise. Your gut is everything. If your gut's healthy, your skin's off, your hair's off, your mental health's off. And people don't really do a lot of work around their gut health, I don't find.
No, it's hard because again, we're not taught to do that. And I think it's just like, it's sort of a novel thing as well. I think now people are more aware of probiotics, prebiotics, because if the gut lining is not working properly, then these things are not getting absorbed properly, which it decreases bioavailability or efficacy of any substance, like whether it's, you know, the most powerful ingredient or, you know, a supplement or whatsoever. But if it's not absorbed, then you can't get it into your blood. That means it's not working regardless of how good it claims to be. So in order, like, you need to support, as I said, the terrain. The terrain should work before we start targeting any sort of signaling. So we need to maintain our body at premium, whether it's eating kimchi or drinking kefir, whether it's taking probiotics. But GHKQ, sorry, it's so
it's
powerful.
A mouthful, isn't it?
It's so powerful to support that. So like whether we're doing like whether it's a supplement in a supplement form, whether it's a local injection or systemic injection, but the beauty of it, because it's such a small peptide, it penetrates. So like sometimes peptides they don't have the power to penetrate through the skin layer because it's so small. It actually works. Like in injection form, it's huge because it's so small. If you take it as a supplement, as a pill, it works. It always works, and that's why it's so beautiful. And you know, we don't talk about it enough, but I think it's one of my favorite ones. It's definitely on the top of my list.
I think if you can have any peptide,
that would be the one.
That would be number one. That would be for aging and anti-aging.
For just a systemic use. Because you get peptides like argireline, and you know they're amazing on your skin, and they should be in skincare. Or especially, I don't know if you do that in your clinic, microneedling, where like, you know, the tox cocktail, you can do Sin-8 and argireline, and you put other peptides because you deliver them through the, you know, the subcutaneous level into the skin. Whereas with GHKQ, it's just good for everything in your body. It supports everything without the risk.
Because and obviously, like, I've noticed it in my hair. So anyone whose hair's thinning, I've took my extensions out now.
Same,
and oh my God, the thickness is just
it's just amazing. It's like, in my hair, like,
it's one of the first things I noticed. I noticed my skin on my body tightening super quick, and my hair, and then the inflammation decreased, and I was like, okay, now I feel like. Did you ever watch the film Death Becomes Her, and they had the little potion of the blue
potion? God, that's what it is. It's just that magic in the little bottle, the fountain of youth.
Oh my God.
I know, because like, you know, it works because it works from internal point, because it's not just topical, and it's something temporarily that you feel like, oh, if I stop putting it on, tomorrow it'll go back. But if it works from the inside, you know, it will work from all sides. And then it makes you feel so good, doesn't it?
Oh, my energy levels and everything.
I love that. Yeah.
Especially when, like, obviously I hit 40, I really felt a decrease in my energy. Even though I was sleeping a good 10, 11 hours, I was thinking.
You don't feel like you're resting.
That was it. I was like,
it's your hormones, and it brings your hormones down to a good level.
That's
the hormones is the ones who, you know, disturb the sleep architecture. But that peptide is so powerful that it manages your hormones along with inflammation.
Because that's what I was noticing. I was noticing my sleep was getting interfered with. And I was like, look, I get it. I'm probably hitting premenopause soon.
And you're stressed. Let's be honest, you're stressed. You do a lot. You do a lot. It's the stress.
And I got that, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I call it me little Smurf juice because it's blue.
Your little shot.
It's in my fridge, and I'm like, I can't live without this. It'll be something that I'll probably continue to use. Let's also talk about...
Try manganese as well. So it's the same. It's a similar peptide, but it's a manganese carrier. If you do them both, copper and manganese in syndicate, oh my God,
Okay, this is what I'm going to start researching. There's a little tip, guys. Let's talk about the dangers, though, because there is a lot out there that obviously, you know, you've got like cancer cells, or you've got cells that kind of, there is some that obviously do contain a growth hormone.
Yep.
We've got to be careful for that, surely, then taking a peptide without seeking medical advice and stuff, because they can mimic the cells to then regenerate and grow rapidly.
That's the thing, because a lot of those peptides who do that, are not, they're deemed as research, experimental, and they're used in a lot of clinic, and they do help because, you know, they've been injected into athletes locally for like centuries now. Or centuries, I'm sorry, decades. Centuries would be nice. Well, who knows? Maybe
it's just been like kept top secret.
On a top secret, you know. CIA. Stamp. No. So no, it's been decades, and then they've been proven to, rejuvenate tendons and muscle breakages and stuff like that. So they do work but the clinical data long term is very limited, and it is in question whether they actually can be harmful, or are they? And anything that really claims or are built to build new blood vessels can be, because with support that it gives to your regular or well-functioning cells, just think that support is not targeted just to one type of the cell. It's supposed, especially if you inject them systemically, it's not local, it's for everywhere. So that support is also taken by the cancer cells. So I think what important thing is to first of all get pre-checked for pre-existing malignancies, and if everything is okay, don't do it at home.
Go and see your clinician.
Go see your clinician, because it's not just about obviously it has to be sterile, it has to be safe, but it's also about reconstitution of, a peptide. It's about, right dosage. It's about undergoing treatments like that under guidance of someone who's there for you and can advise what can be done next, because it's not fit for, it's not the glove that fits us all. It's different for everyone.
And I think that's it. When someone's in clinic, we literally stick to more skincare ones. They're safe, they've been researched, and they're out there in skincare. But then you have got some, and they pull out this big list of peptides, and you're just like, okay, they're doing all of these.
BCP 157, TB 500. They're one of the most famous ones. And I think they are. I like them a lot.
I love BPC 157 and TB 500.
However, before taking it, I would always get pre-screening. And that's what I always say. I'm not advocating for or against, but just be safe. And if you're safe and you're okay to go, you can use it. You don't have to use it long term. You can use it in periodic, so let's say you use it for 28 days, then you take a break, then you use it after 6 months again. So because the clinical data doesn't exist in terms of long-term, but what is long-term for clinical? It's 10, 15 years. So no one really should be taking it for 10, 15 years non-stop every day, because in the end of the day, no matter how much of us wanting to tackle aging, we won't be immortal just because of one peptide, just because of BCP 157. We cannot tackle immortality. It has to be a cocktail of things. So instead of that, just better to take turns with mitochondrial peptides. I personally really like SS31 and
I've
MOTS.
heard about this one.
Because I think the dangers of it are less off.
In
terms of, because they support mitochondrial function, they support energy, energy metabolism and influx. They support anti-inflammation and stuff like that, rather than building new blood vessels. But again, there is always some risk somewhere when it hasn't been clinically approved.
It's still, although it's been researched for years, it's still it's just not gone mainstream.
And the reason why it has not been clinically approved, not necessarily because it's dangerous, it's just because we didn't have enough time, as you said. It's still early days. It might get clinically approved next 5, 10 years. It might be next 2. Just because it's undergoing it now doesn't mean it's going to be forever there. But before they put that dot on I, because before it's final, they need to make sure it's safe. And that's why it's been called research and experimental. But while it's in that stage, and even if it's not anymore, I think it's always good to do a health check regardless 100%, of what you take.
And that's it. And I think just know where the peptides are coming, that they've got maybe efficiency reports behind them, because I do feel like we're going to see a trend of people just selling them and not having a clue of what's...
I think there is always a trend, and I think there is already a trend. I've seen so many people in the gym advocating for those peptides. Please, people, don't get your peptides from the gym.
Someone hasn't got a clue what they're doing. Just go to clinicians.
Because it's besides just rejuvenation, all those, the Wolverine stack of peptides, TB 500 and BCP 157, they also are for bodybuilders. And that's why they've been banned by the Doping Agency, because they make you almost like a superhuman. I don't know what it does on the side, but it does help your muscles regenerate. It helps you heal better, quicker. You become stronger. in the right dosage with the right sterile conditions under the supervision of medical practitioner, it can be powerful. But if you get it of a gel from the gym,
what are you taking?
I don't know, because it can be degraded as well. You don't know what is actually there. Because
I think as well, you're just getting into a very expensive habit buying something from Joe Blogs in the gym. Just go and give them your money and then don't expect anything off the bat.
But that's the thing, is the TikTok culture.
Yeah.
Because we do give our money to a lot of hyped up products that not necessarily are working.
That's it.
So always, like point out, always, go to your medical professional.
Yeah.
Why would you want to give your money to the Joe from the gym? If you can, find a professional who actually understands the science behind it, who can provide you with conditions that are optimal for you and you only. And that's, I would advocate for that.
Let's talk about people and some products that are out there that claim that they're going to really fix your skin and they're just ruining your skin barrier. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of people out there that are talking right now about, oh, my skin barrier is broken, my skin barrier is broken. What's the one thing someone can do to, obviously they're on tretinones too much, they're using too much lactic acids. What can they do, the main thing to make sure that they kind of can heal the skin barrier?
Ceramides. Yes! I mean, come on. We started with them. We'll always go back to ceramides. But it's just because, the hype, again, the TikTok hype of 12-step skincare routine.
Do you know what makes me laugh is when you see them and they're taking the mask off. They're taking literally about a million.
Next one is going to be the face. That's going to be your skin layer. That's what I'm saying.
It's true,
Don't do that. 3-4 steps is enough. That's optimal. You don't always even have to wash your face harshly. Like, I've been washing my face, and it's because I'm acne prone and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've been washing my face 2-3 times a day. Sometimes you only need once.
Yeah.
And hot water, even stuff like hot water, don't wash your hair, don't do that. That's skin barrier. But if you do that and on top you put acid, and then you put salicylic acid, then you put mandelic acid, then you put lactic acid, all those acids, and then you have not researched, you have not done your homework, and you put vitamin C, and then you put retinol because some TikToker said it to you, and then you're like, oh, what's happening? Why my skin is peeling? Well,
it's gonna.
Yes.
Absolutely it is.
And then you don't put any ceramides on top because you're like, they're pointless. I want the harsh stuff.
I just want to look really aggravated.
It's just like, well, soon you're going to look like you've been broiled.
I always say you only really need one ingredient to just literally wake up them deep cells. All you want to do is just make sure they don't go to sleep. When they go to sleep, we start to age. And I think kind of just one active just to kind of stimulate it continuously. And the skin's always gonna look really, really good.
Yeah. So essentially, with skin aging, it can be external and internal. So from external aging, you get the pollutants, the UV that affects us. From internal, it's inflammation and it's senescence. So senescence is the state the cells reach. Essentially, they're not quite dead, but they're not dividing, but they're just accumulating those phenotypes, the bad phenotypes, the inflammatory phenotypes. They keep sending it. So they just ruining, the loop, and then but without the division. So you get lots of those zombie cells, and that's what we want to tackle. That's the ingredients we need to tackle senescence, to tackle the inflammation, and to preserve the barrier from to help with the pollution and UV.
It is.
So peptides, ceramides.
Synergically put them together. That's what it is.
Oh, it's the best. You always should. I think you always have to either layer them or put them together. Because, layering doesn't work if you layer wrong ingredients on top of each other, but you can always be safe with layering peptides and ceramides, I think.
Do you know, and that's it. And when people come into clinic, I always say, do you know what? Half the time you're thinking that you need sculpting with fillers, and it's not. It's just the inflammation under the skin. Get rid of the inflammation, and honestly, you're going to look like you've had 5 mil because you're going to be sculpted to anything.
Just get some polynucleotides, get some nice skincare, get consultation with your medical practitioner who will tell you that 12 steps is too much. Don't do that. And
that's it.
Always ask your medical professional if you can. Don't ask TikTokers. I mean, there is some good advice there, obviously, but always advise with someone who's been in the field more than just a few months.
Let's finish off with one last topic, because I do believe that we are starting to really be able to reverse aging.
All right.
And obviously, Sienna Miller has hit socials this week. How beautiful she looks.
Oh, Lindsay Lohan. What they're having.
I'm like, a lot of saying, like, how have we done this now in like kind of like being like 45 years ago is completely different to what you look like now. 40 now is really classed as young because we're reversing everything.
Because back in the day, we only had, the aesthetics weren't available to a lot of us. To people that it was available to, it was Botox and fillers, and the placement of fillers was completely different. It was this overfilled sort of like, first of all, the formulation of a filler itself wasn't as advanced. And secondly, it was, the physiology of the face, the way they looked, the structure, the placement of the filling was very different. Secondly, we didn't have polynucleotides. We didn't have injectable peptides. Microneedling wasn't a thing. People still think that microneedling is still a hype. No, we need to create a little incision. First of all, to get the substance into, such as, polynucleotides and peptides, because not all peptides will penetrate through the skin. And secondly, to create a micro damage, to create that collagen, like fibroblast stimulation to give a response to produce more collagen. And micro damage always does that, along with your powerful substances that you put into. But we didn't have that before.
I remember doing microneedling when I very first went into aesthetics. So I'm probably thinking now, well, I'm 10 years now in. So it was about a year before, so 11 years ago. And no one was doing microneedling. It was just like, oh no, I don't want microneedling. Don't want. Now it's huge, I think.
But think about microneedling as acupuncture. And acupuncture existed for centuries. No, I'm sorry, thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years.
I'm about to Bible.
It goes as probably beyond. Like, I'm not even joking. It's one of the most, sacred functions of like Chinese medicine. And that is microneedling. Because so they create that puncture, so they don't necessarily always deliver the substance, because that's formulations and new. The science is new, but the purpose of the needle and going into the certain level of the debris, like dermal debris, is not.
And I think we need to obviously educate people. You shouldn't be walking out of a clinic pouring with blood. It should just be like...
And you shouldn't do microneedling at home. Please don't do it at home.
This is the worst now. People do it at home.
I had a few friends who tried that and gosh, the infection and oh no. And I was like, why?
I think it's like everything. TikTok just literally, because I've seen people
to do that at home,
buying tox and doing tox themselves at home.
And then you just get droopy eyes.
I'm like, what is going on? But we live in that generation of TikTok and everything, don't we?
Yeah, and I think that's what we need to advocate more for. Please watch TikTok, get your advice from there. Just
be careful.
Be careful and ask someone that has prior knowledge to it. Like someone who's been in aesthetics for 10, 11 years, like yourself. Like, I don't know, you said from 18 you were into skin.
I was into skin,
and then aesthetics was, 10, 11 years. Like, why would you ask TikToker who...
it's because the funny thing is,
someone like you, like, no.
Oh, thank you. It's funny because my mum, I would only be about 11 or 12, and my mum was always into like beauty stuff, and she'd come home from the doctor. She did have like always breaking out, and she'd come home with like retinols and tretinols, and I'd be like, what is this? So I was exposed to it from a very, very young age, and then watching my mum go through, and then I just naturally progressed down the route.
And you found out it's ceramides. So even if you're breaking down and people tell you use, because I've been through this and I've been using harsh acids like since I was young, like 15, 16 harsh acids, and then you realize the more of that stuff you use, the more it makes you break out. So what you actually need is not the acid to dry out. You need to protect your barrier along with retinol, along with that. But ceramides and essential, if your barrier is not working, you will always break out. It doesn't matter what.
Because the thing is, with harsh acids, they'll look good for maybe a couple of days. You might look a bit dry and think, oh, this is clearing, but it'll come back with vengeance.
And then you'll get more UV damage because you damaged the barrier. And that is the biggest fear, because you never know what, like even SPF, like it wouldn't protect you as much once your barrier is not there completely. So always take care of your barrier. Take ceramides.
Take ceramides. The ethos of APS.
It's so powerful, Ceramides, peptides, get rid of antioxidants, and make sure you know your labels.
Absolutely.
I think under the guidance is just what we need.
To finish off, what do you see happening in skincare over the next 5 years?
Oh gosh.
Or anti-aging, shall we say. I think we've really seen a turn now. Our youth culture, they're all about longevity, wellness and everything. So we're only really going to see improvements in aging, aren't we, really?
So essentially, it would be nice to see an actual delivery method that delivers those peptides, that delivers the ceramides into the skin properly. So I think that's what I would
start to look at,
and then be like excited to see is the delivery method, because we get those amazing formulations, and we might get more, because I don't know if you've seen the marine peptides now. I think they're done by like a few of the Chinese cosmetic companies. They patented them. Is from jellyfish.
Okay.
Yeah, so jellyfish collagen, oh my God, apparently it's a new thing, and it's just been a recent thing. So there's something to do your homework on. I've just been getting into it, and I've been reading a lot of amazing stuff.
Doing it at the moment,
so
haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. So I've been getting into that kind of like area of like jellyfish peptides, and because they're like easy to like, because the size of them is so small, they would actually penetrate the membrane. But essentially, because not all peptides, not proteins especially, because they're so large, the collagen itself, you need to create the collagen, hydrolyze the collagen. You need to create a smaller version of a collagen to penetrate the membrane. Something under 500 daltons, because the molecule is so big that you just wouldn't get through. So it's creating that delivery system to get things into the cells so they actually work, to signal, to create the gene expression.
So I think people don't realize how small our cells are, and then you're putting these huge compounds in.
And they just don't get through the cell because cell membrane. Otherwise, if everything was able to get through the cell membrane, we would be dead already. Evolution created us in certain way, so the pathogens, so like the harmful compounds at the certain size are not able to get through the cell, and that's why we only get viruses who are tiny and they can get into it. And then obviously virus delivery system. But that would be gene therapy, and I don't think that would happen in the next 5 years, because it's just something clinical. It's just something that undergoing clinical trials right now. But in cosmetics, I doubt. I highly doubt it.
I know. See this one come on the market.
I don't know. Have you seen the TV show on Disney? It's a new one. It's called Beauty.
No.
Take a look.
Oh, I need to watch this.
It's about this. It's a mix of like horror and fiction and everything. It's about this new virus making people beautiful.
Oh, and then, give it me all.
I know. And then they become supermodels and then they explode. Oh my God. But it's honestly, but 2 years of their life. It's so
You're
good.
Literally selling your soul to be beautiful for 2 years.
I know, it's just so up your alley. I think you'd love it. Bella Hadid is in there. So it starts with Bella Hadid becoming this supermodel, and she's infected with the virus. And honestly, it's just something. It's just a good watch. It's just a good laugh, a good watch. But
easy to watch.
It's easy. It's a bit horror based, but the thing is, I think besides the virus and the whole fiction is where we're heading at. We're heading into this beauty world.
It is. Everything's really surrounding itself around it. In terms of who are really, really like leading the way in anti-aging right now, where would you say the culture is that's really leading it for us?
I think it's Asia.
Yeah, me too.
Because
a lot of my ingredients come from there.
First of all, I think it's to do with they get their patents. So you can like, I think they paused it for a moment because of like things happening in the world, but they have a fast route for patents. So basically, when it would take us about 2-3 years to get something patented within the cosmetic industry, I'm not talking about clinical trials or anything, but within the cosmetics, 2-3 years, you can do that. You could have done that in Asia before it was paused in 6 months. So it's the leading. The science is up there. They've got a lot of money. Like we don't have as many third-party manufacturers as they have there with the same technology because of the taxation, because of the the expenses and again patents. So what is available here is very different to what's available there. But then we get once it's patented there, they can apply for like a patent, like multi-country patent, and then we will accept it. But it has to be patented somewhere to give that proof of concept, and that's why they lead, and they're just faster. They're just faster. It costs them less. They have this premium science. They have this premium bioengineering teams, and a lot of like our people go there to create something, and it's not even that. It's
people don't realize what goes into it, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm going to start a skincare brand," and you know what? I advocate anyone to follow their dreams. But it's hard work. Like they don't realize before it's on shelf, there's years of testing.
Prototyping. It's a proof of concept and proving that it actually works and then the approvals and the trials. Because people think it's like it's only with like pharmaceuticals and everything else you get the clinical trials, but you still need to get approvals that it works and it's not harmful, it doesn't irritate. And the amount of prototypes you create for it, especially if you care for it, especially it's not just like, another thing.
I think each one of my products is about 12 months before they give me the go ahead.
Yeah,
and like
it takes
what
time,
needs to
and you're
be
like,
on the
come on,
box.
I just want to hurry up. And that is the issue, because in Asia that can happen within 4 months.
Yeah,
and
I used to get frustrated.
Yeah.
I was like,
you
I've
get
got
so
this
frustrated because you
product.
could just keep hitting those walls with regulatory bodies, whereas in Asia, once it's just much quicker. And that's probably the only, maybe not the only reason, but they are the pioneers because of how fast everything is moving.
And they know what they're doing.
And they love their
just
skincare.
like
they love their skincare. They are educated in terms of skincare.
Yeah.
They've been educated. It's been historical. Even before we had the science, they had, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic treatments in India. Like so many things there that we
wasn't aware of.
And only now it's becoming a hype, but they had it for centuries, for thousands of years. It's been traditional medicine to them. And, hopefully we'll get there too.
It's an exciting time to see what's happening, isn't it? And I can't wait to see what work you do. And
hopefully we'll live long enough to become immortal. Oh my
God, I'm telling you, give it me all.
It's like, this podcast is like, episode 1002.
We're still here.
We still look the same.
Well, thank you so much, Kat. We could talk all day. I could talk all day. But honestly, you've really come and just really educated just how amazing some of the things are on the market right now. What's in APS? So I can't thank you enough.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.